Bill Gates has a wall with the periodic table complete with actual samples in his office. So, on my way to work today, I encountered a geothermal anomaly. This rock was warm to the touch. It felt slightly warmer than my body temperature. My fresh tracks were the only tracks around Sweden. The Robert E. Lee Monument, Richmond, Virginia, 2013, 2020, and now. These lights are red, so they don't disturb bats. This store in a bar, designed to test how drunk customers are. In 2012, a Burger King employee anonymously posted an image on 4chan of his feet in lettuce, with the caption, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." It took 20 minutes for people to track down the branch the employee worked at and contact the news. He was promptly fired. Same place in Utrecht, Netherlands, 1980 and 2022. In the 1970s, North Korea ordered 1,000 Volvo cars from Sweden as a response to its emerging economy. The cars were shipped and delivered, but North Korea just didn't bother paying and ignored the invoice. To this day, the bill remains unpaid, making it the largest car theft in history. Grasshopper infected and consumed by cordyceps fungus. Hiroshima before and after the A-bomb was dropped August 6, 1945. 129,000 people died. An octopus with 32 tentacles found off the coasts of South Korea. This is a picture of the Empire State Building after a bomber plane crashed into it in 1945. With Sister and Ray dying this week at 118 years old, Maria Branais has become the world's oldest verified living person at 115 years old, born 1907. Here she is at age 15 in 1922, alongside what she looks like now. Flowers after an ice storm. NORAD has been tracking the SPA balloon since its launch from mainland China. This is the Keldozer. On June 4, 2004, a Colorado man called Marvin Hemia would drive into Granby, Colorado in a modified Komatsu D355A bulldozer, causing approximately $7 million worth of damage. This water in Sweden is so clear, it looks like there's none at all. In 1971, a cement truck crashed near Wingon in Oklahoma. The mixer was too heavy to move, so they left it. The locals have since repainted it to look like a NASA space capsule. America has flag drop boxes. The list of reasons for admission to a mental asylum in the 1800s. It's me again. I'm a cis female. I have PCOS and have lived with this beard since I was 15. I'm 35 now and have been getting electrolysis treatments since April 2021. Here's my progress with 127 hours of electrolysis so far. I'm a shameless open book, so ask away. April 2021. January 2023. Latest image of our neighbor planet Mars by Perseverance rover. This keypad randomizes the numbers every single time so no one figures out the password from your hand movements. 9-year-old aspiring paleontologist found the find of a lifetime, a massive 5-inch megalodon tooth. The suspected Chinese surveillance balloon currently hovering over the United States. It is not being shot down to prevent potential harm to civilians. The over 200 private jets that have departed nearby Arizona airports hours after the 2023 Super Bowl. Brock Brown, deemed world's tallest teenager in 2016, pictured with his parents. Caleb Whitby, 27, who miraculously escaped with minor injuries, was sandwiched in his pickup truck between two trailers in the Baker City crash. This is Ball's Pyramid, a giant rock in the middle of the ocean, where nothing lives except shrubs and one nasty insect. So if you're stranded there, good luck. An 80-year-old man in Finland created a belt-fed .22 caliber machine gun out of an electric drill. The cam-driven weapon had a firing rate of 420 RPM. For comparison, the US M3 grease gun is 450 RPM. The man was not prosecuted, but he had to give up his creation. The famous face on Mars, imaged by NASA's Viking 1 orbiter in 1976 and Mars Global Surveyor in 2001. In 1967, Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King paid the hospital bill for Julia Roberts' birth as a gift to her parents. A massive earthworm was found in Queensland, Australia. I found a $60,000 Yamaha C5 grand piano in an abandoned hoarder house. Iraqi kid goes for a swim with US troops at Saddam's bombed out palace after the fall of Baghdad. This gate is a masterpiece of optical illusion. Vienna's leisure arena. New UFO image declassified by Department of Defense. The image of metallic-looking orb flying over Mosul, Iraq was captured in April 2016 by US spy plane and was included in a classified briefing video on UFOs shown to multiple US government agencies. Lemon meringue pie. Tippi Hedren with her tiger in her kitchen at home in Los Angeles, 1982. Richard Nutlasher was on his way to drive his dirt bike when Mount St. Helens erupted. May 1980. He survived. Most of the US-Canada land border is a 6-meter line where no trees can grow. Union of Chambers of Turkish Engineers and Architects building. When a 6.8 earthquake hit Olympia, Washington in 2001, a shop owner found that a sand tracing pendulum drew weird squiggly lines. In 2005, World of Warcraft introduced the corrupted blood debuff, meant to be kept in the boss zone. Some players found a way to spread it outside. Thousands died, servers had to be quarantined and reset, and the CDC later used the incident for disease modeling. Italian police drive a Lamborghini Huracan to deliver 2 donor kidneys 500 kilometers, 310 miles, for life-saving surgery. They drove from Rome to Padua in 2 hours with an average speed of 233 kilometers, 145 miles per hour. The trip normally takes 6 hours. 2020. The biggest and most expensive house in the US. It has 21 bedrooms and 49 bathrooms. It was named the one by its creator, developer, Niall Naomi. It was originally listed for $500 million, but sold for $141 million when Niall couldn't find a buyer. Binge is a pyramid from above. Graves of 63 wives of Afzal Khan, general in Bijapur Sultanate. 1659 Common Era. A astrologer predicted that he would not survive his battle, so he had all of them killed, fearing that his wives would remarry after his death. Frozen bamboo Q2 Japan. Green heron chick being dinosaur's duck. Researchers have discovered a crater 1.5 kilometers beneath the Antarctic ice crust, 482 kilometers in diameter. 1935 Rolls-Royce Phantom 1 John Deere Coupe. Philadelphia policeman greasing street pole so revelers can't climb after Super Bowl. More than 10,000 years ago, a woman or young man made 2 trips, at least one carrying a toddler, now in New Mexico's White Sands National Park, stretch for 1.5 kilometers, and consists of 400 human prints. Comet Leonard, Canadian. The actual $7.2 million check the USA wrote to Russia to purchase Alaska in 1867. On December 5, 2009, the Pentagon's DARPA group challenged people to find 10 giant red balloons hidden across the US, offering $40,000 to whoever located them all. A group from MIT found all the 10 balloons in less than 7 hours. Highways in Australia are so long, there are trivia road signs to keep drivers from falling asleep while driving. Fatigue zone. Keep playing trivia. It may save your life. Fatigue zone. Question. Floral emblem of Queensland? Fatigue zone. Answer. The Cooktown orchid. Women of the English aristocracy as portrayed by John Singer Sargent versus how they looked in real life, 1890s to 1900s. Our cats are co-parenting together. The one on the left is the birth mom, and on the right is the stepmom. After being overwhelmed with having 6 babies, the birth mom would only nurse for a second and then leave, and our other cat heard the kitten's cries and stepped in. Power washing buildings in New York City. A ghost shark, the phantom of the deep sea, caught on camera for the first time. Previously, scientists were unable to capture one on camera, since they prefer depths up to 8,500 feet, 2,600 meters. I cleaned a room in an abandoned hoarder house. A mudhif house made entirely of reeds, southern Iraq. It happened. With 1 month of work at minimum wage you cannot even buy a whole chicken in Venezuela. Monthly minimum wage now around $5 US. Calupop, the Mexican wolf dog breed that was brought back to life from the time of the Aztec Empire. Warthogs in Queen Elizabeth National Park, Uganda have learned to rid themselves of annoying ticks by seeking out the grooming services of mongooses looking for snacks. This is a rare example of mutualistic partnership. One of my most detailed deep space images ever. This is what happens when you spend 20 hours shooting the leftmost star of Orion's belt. Make sure you zoom in to see all the pretty details. Polar bear chilling on iceberg. Sanctuary of Madonna della Corona, Italy. Built over 2,000 feet above sea level into a vertical cliff face on Italy's Mount Boldo in front of Valdadige. Ice formation on a cross on top of Mont Vento, France. Turkey has shifted 4 meters after the latest earthquakes. Here are some pictures that demonstrate the effects. Fake rooftop town built to hide Boeing's factory from potential Japanese airstrikes, 1944. Despite what some may say, they are not a separate species or albino. White tigers are simply Bengal tigers. White tigers occur when two Bengal tigers that carry a recessive gene controlling coat color are bred together. Ants count their steps. To prove, scientists took a few ants out of a line and attached tiny stilts to their legs. Since they took bigger steps, the ants totally walked right by the food without noticing it. And ants, when the slits were removed, couldn't walk back home and stopped early. Ruptured fault line can be seen in Turkey. 55-year-old woman survives after 122 hours in Turkey earthquake. That is more than 5 full days. In the 1940 Disney film Fantasia, a sequence shows a dinosaurs going extinct from a massive drought. This is because the theory of an asteroid striking Earth was not proposed until 1980. Google first black man in space. Google will lie and say the man in the second picture, Guion Bluford, was the first black man to go to space. About 3 years prior, on September 18th, 1980, a Hispanic/black man working for Usher, Arnoldo Tamayo Mendez, had already made it to space. This bald eagle stole a hawk chick to feed to its own nestlings, then got confused and started feeding the baby hawk too. The hawk survived to adulthood and left the nest. A abandoned train in Siberia. The Stairs of Death are a section of stone steps built by the Incas, which lead to the top of Huayna Picchu. The ceiling of Keshava Temple in Somanathapura, India. The construction of the temple was completed and consecrated in 1268 AD. Small caves in Old City in Italy. Pimenti of Pietragalla. Caves were used for processing and fermentation of grapes. Himalayan beehive with psychoactive honey. Himalayan bees considered the biggest bees in the world. World's largest quartz crystal cluster. Photographer Louis Mary Pro went underwater every day for 4 years to take a photograph of a Eurasian beaver swimming in the Loire River, Gizmodo writes. The resulting photograph was recently published in the Biographic. Santa Cruz del Islote is a magical place. A population of up to 1,200 live on an island the size of 2 football fields in the middle of the Caribbean, making it one of the most densely populated islands on the planet. Glacial lakes untouched by man. Katmai, Alaska. Night illumination comparison between North Korea and South Korea. The weapon's grade dragon's breath chili pepper is so heated is downright deadly. If you ate one, it could potentially cause a type of anaphylactic shock, burning your airways and closing them up. Made a 3D map of the entire world in wood, acrylic. This excavator works between nearly collapsed 2 buildings to save lives under the rubble. In 1987, for the cover of their album A Moment, A Relapse of Reason, Pink Floyd set up over 700 beds at Saunton Sands Beach in North Devon. Local building is getting remodeled, so to prevent a potential eyesore caused by rows of scaffolding, they put a tarp over the building that looks exactly like the finished building. The first printed edition of William Shakespeare's plays on display in Scotland to mark 400 years since it was first published. Horse stuck on a roof after floods in New Zealand. And Hodges was the only human being in recorded history to be hit by a meteorite. 1954. This statue depicts Saint Bartholomew, an early Christian martyr who was allegedly skinned alive. If you look closely, that's his dissected skin hanging around him. This stunning statue by Marco d'Agrat from circa 1562 is currently on display at Duomo di Milano. Mary Monroe Sanderson, 1748 to 1852, of Lexington, Massachusetts, one of the earliest born people to have ever been photographed. She was married and had children by the time the American Revolution started. Rapid fire snowball gun plan found in a newspaper from the 1890s. The CIA made an insectothopter in the 1970s. Modeled after dragonflies, they have a range of 650 feet and fly for 1 minute. The flower-crowned alleged skull of Saint Valentine exhibited in the Basilica of Santa Maria in Cosmedin, Rome. 3 weeks before being gunned down, Clyde Barrow sent a letter to Henry Ford praising his cars. This green snake camouflaged as a plant stem, hiding in plain sight. Cumimonifordissae, a recently described fossil penguin from New Zealand, is one of the largest penguins ever discovered. Art by Simone Giovanardi. Light bending in tea. What happens if architect change his mind? Italian painter Giotto hid a devil's face inside a cloud in a fresco he painted in the Basilica of St. Francis of Assisi. It remained unnoticed, or, at least, undocumented, for 700 years. Some spiders are excellent mothers. Amberobius ferox, pictured, guards a young over a period of 3 weeks which they incubate, assists them in exiting their egg case, and provides nutrients in the form of trophic eggs in her body, which they eventually consume. A coin toss is not 50/50. The head side of a coin typically has slightly more mass than its tail side due to how it's engraved. This results in a 56% chance of a coin landing head side up.